Last year, for the first time in history, leaders of the world came together and adopted a plan for the future of our planet and its people. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development is an unprecedented blueprint for action across all three pillars of the work of the United Nations: peace and security, development, and human rights. They're integrated, and in this extraordinary agenda, we see the need for equal balance in the social, the economic, and the environmental dimensions of sustainable development. In this way, the 2030 Agenda seeks fundamentally to transform the way in which we think about development. It calls for a new model of international development where everyone, government officials, civil society activists, business leaders, community leaders, entrepreneurs, innovators, scientists or researchers, everyone has a role to play to ensure that no one is left behind. And so governments are rethinking the way they work. In this way, they're trying to find ways to contribute best to the new agenda. And the United Nations is attuning its actions in line with these new directions. In this context, the United Nations Institute for Social Development, known as UNRISD, is today launching a report which explores what transformative change really means for societies and individuals. In this report, there's guidance on how to turn the 2030 Agenda and the Sustainable Development Goals into a series of concrete actions. The report assesses recent innovations, as well as new kinds of social development, approaches, and policies, which not only tackle the symptoms of today's challenges, but also address their root causes. Within the report, we find analyses of which policies and approaches are most likely to contribute to the best possible achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. We also find analyses of ways to foster the kinds of policy coherence as well as the democratic and participatory processes that will be required to bring the new agenda to life. As we recently celebrated the anniversary of the adoption of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, it really is critically important that agencies such as UNRISD continue to share the products of their research. And that's because they offer the kinds of solutions that are needed to the complex and interrelated problems that countries are facing in today's world. Because, if the 2030 Agenda is to be implemented, research has to play a central role. And UNRISD is such an important player for ensuring that social equity, inclusion, and justice are at the centre of sustainable development.